You ready, Nafis? Fadal. We'll come back. Fadal Abdul Raqib. We'll come back. You finish. Fadal.
Canada. How do we establish the fundamentals in each Islamic science? How do we solidify the basics?
Answer that question too many times. Fadal. Abdul Wadud.
So you're praying.
That's the next marathon. Yeah.
So you're actually traveling, right? And you have the intentions on you miss Dhuhr, but you traveling, so you're going to combine your Dhuhr with your Asr. But you come to a masjid and you see them about to establish the Asr prayer.
You make Dhuhr. You make Dhuhr with their Asr.
So make Dhuhr?
Yeah, your intention is Dhuhr, theirs is Asr. The Imam salams out. You make your Asr afterwards.
But how do you make the Dhuhr? Like
as I just said, enter the gates of Jerusalem. We just explained this.
You do the
just what? Just do it.
You do the full fold?
Indeed. If you're praying behind a resident imam, you follow him. And when he salams out, you stand up, you make your iqamah for Asr, and you make your two.
Also, what if a brother came to me with a question? He asked the question, like he's like in corporate America, right, where he has like an office.
Okay.
And his wife doesn't work, so his wife sometimes used to surprise him. He said, he
Okay.
asked the question like, "Yo, my wife popped up on me,
Okay.
and my office is quiet. So
Okay.
sometimes, she wants some love."
Tell you?
And he's in the, you know what I'm saying?
In the cubicle.
Yeah, not in the cubicle, no way. But he's
In the office.
yeah.
Okay.
And they take care of business.
They're taking care of business in the office.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
And he doesn't have access to a shower. What does he do?
He doesn't have access to a shower. What does he do?
I don't know what to tell him.
Tell you. The first step is, if your wife won't pop up on you at work, make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure your wife doesn't pop up on you at work and you what? Taking care of any other type of business. That's first and foremost. It don't have to be nothing haram. Don't be on Muslimah. Right, Abdul Qawi? This guy's laughing, but listen, it's rules. You understand? Don't be doing anything that's unpleasing to your wife that's going to pop up on you. That's rule number what? One. That's the most important fiqh principle in this question. As far as number two, I don't understand the question. Is it his office? How does a wife come visit you in the office and you have an intercourse with her in the office?
Because
كيف هذا يا أخي? She brings them lunch and then they just start having sex in the office. Next question. Next question. I'm sure it does. But I don't understand how does it work? A Muslim woman comes into... That's not the point. That's not the point. But that's not the point of the answer. How does a Muslim woman walk into a public place, a public office building, walk in the door, lock the door, she has intercourse, and then she just leaves? What scenario is that? Help me understand, Abdul Qawi. I understand that it can happen. Anything can happen. But the point is the etiquette of that. Kaif, yani? What if somebody knocks on your door or your real secretary comes to bring you something? Or anything. At the end of the day, I'm not here as a judge upon people. That's not my job. That's not my duty. It never was. The question is, how does he make the salah? He should not have intercourse with his wife in any location unless he has a plan, a tangible plan on purifying himself. A tangible plan on what? Purifying himself. You understand this? It's one of the most important rules is that before you do something, you have the next move already premeditated, planned out. You don't enter a place until you have the what? Already mapped out. Yeah, no problem. That's the most important thing. Huh? Amateur bank robber versus a skilled bank robber. He's thinking about just going to the bank and take the money. Oh, it's a lot of money. We can go with guns and masks and that's it. We're going to leave it. But how do you get, it's a one-way street. It's traffic. How long the police, what type of car you have, etc. All that has to be intricately planned out to enjoy the money. You understand? You sure? So for you to have an intercourse and you're not home, you're not in a hotel, let's say on an airplane, for Nafis, Abdul, the brother saying it can happen. All right, no problem. You take your wife into the bathroom on an airplane, mashallah. At the end of the day, how many hours is there until you're going to have a shower? How is that even permissible? And you know you're going to become junub, and the prayer is going to come in and go out, and you have no tangible thought. Not this, that, but it's not even. You're not even thinking about it, Abdul Qawi. You're not even caring. Everyone understand this? That's a problem. Without a question, that's a what? It's a problem. Next question. Fadl, next question. Abdul Raqib. And as a disclaimer for all the viewers on Hadith Disciple, this is live. This isn't scripted. I had no idea Abdul Wadud was going to come tonight and even ask that question. Wallahi al-azim. You see any papers or any signals cut? Take two? This is as raw as it gets. That was the brother's question, and that's my humble answer.
It was asked to me.
Fadl, there's no shyness in the deen.
Absolutely.
But you have to be mindful. You have to be what? Mindful. To become junub and know that the prayer is going to come in, you have no way. You can't say you can make tayammum. Why and how can you make tayammum? In which you're intentionally becoming junub. And it's not like you're at home and the water is out. You're stranded somewhere, the plane has crashed, the boat is wrecked on the shore. You're at work. Yeah, what is this? And you have 4 or 5 hours left. How many Dhuhr are also going to come in and go out? I'm going to make tayammum. Fadl.
Is there a prerequisite for a Jumu'ah to be valid? Like a certain number of people?
Prerequisite for Jumu'ah to be valid? According to many scholars, yes. They differ on the exact number. They differ on the number. They differ on the number. Some say 40. Some say 300. Some say 70. Some say 12. And some say 3. Some say 3 and some may even say 2. Aqallul jama'ah. The smallest number for a jama'at. 2 to 3 people. So some people, they say it has to be an imam, a khatib, and a mu'adhin at least. And preferably one more person listening. And Allah knows best. That's regards to the number. As far as location, what has to be said, what are the qualifications of the one who's speaking, etc. Then those are all details of which the fuqaha of Islam, they differ. And the correct view is that it's permissible to hold Jumu'ah in a location where it's needed. In a location where it's needed. Especially in the times in which we live, in which things are extremely secular. There is no Muslim leader, there's no Khalifa, there's no Hakim Shari, there's no Sultan mandating the masjids, al-masjid al-jami'. There's work, there's school, there's MSA, and there's 70 masjids in one city. And there are no requirements to who can and cannot make a masjid, except for the requirements of building and zoning and things like this. Safety, how many people are allowed in this masjid? 250, 3,000 maximum, etc. Fire exit. And this is one of the problems that we're going to suffer from, and we keep suffering from, because we have no central leadership in the United States or Canada or the UK. There's no central leadership. So basically we can do whatever we want to do, which comes with disadvantages. But it comes with many what? Disadvantages. So therefore, if you're at a college or at a small masjid or musalla or somewhere and there's a need for Jumu'ah, let there be at least an imam, let there be someone making the adhan, and let there be at least someone listening. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. What has to be mentioned in the khutbah, some of the ulama of Islam, they say that you have to praise Allah. There has to be hamd. And it has to be al-wasiyya bit-taqwa. It advise the people to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you did that, you got on the minbar, you sat down, or you did one khutbah, second khutbah, they said that was sufficient. And Allah knows best. That's in brief. Tfadal.
Shifa E from Munich, Germany. Assalamu alaikum.
Munich.
Assalamu alaikum Mufti. How often do I have to check whether my menstruation has ended? Do I need to check for each salah time? Wake up before Fajr to see if I have to pray Isha, etc.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Question from Munich, Germany. How often do I have to check and see if I've become pure after my menstrual cycle? After each salah, before each salah, do I have to wake up in the morning? So on and so forth. Take basic precaution. Take basic precaution. If you're in the middle of your menstrual cycle, then you don't have to check. You don't have to check. If you have a regular cycle, that's 6 days, you're in day 3, there's no need of checking. You don't have to set your alarm to wake up for Fajr to check. You see, if you see when you use the bathroom or whatever. As far as if the cycle is waning, the 4th day, the 5th day, then you be precautious. There are only 5 hours left in the 6th day. Then you check, yes, because it may stop. And you may have to make that salah. And Allah knows best.
This was FA from Houston, Texas. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Mufti. Barakallahu feek. I will have enough funds for Hajj this year. I told my parents, but they're not letting me go because it's tight at home. That's the question.
Okay. So the person has enough money to make Hajj.
He said, I will have enough funds for Hajj this year.
I will have enough funds for Hajj this year.
I told my parents, but they're not letting me
Clear,
go.
because things are tight, okay? Anything else? Clear, I got it. Crystal clear. It depends. Do you live with your parents? Seems as if you do from the question. Do your parents need your support and help? It's one thing. If you're not living with your parents, or you are living with them and they don't need your money, that's a different story. But if you have to support your parents and support the bills and take care of the expenses of the household, that's your responsibility as a son or a daughter, etc., then don't make Hajj because you don't have the money to make Hajj. If the money is needed somewhere else, then you don't have it. You don't have it. If the money is needed somewhere else, then you what? You don't actually have it. The Hajj is obligatory for the person who has the funding or the funds for the Hajj that's set aside from his or her daily bills, needs, and necessities. Of course, that's relative. You're trying to make Hajj, you budget, you start saving, you cut down on this, you cut down on that. You sacrifice a couple of meals. You go a couple of months, perhaps a couple of weeks with just, rice and beans, no meat, for example. You wear the same pair of sneakers, don't buy yourself a new jacket, whack at that. But you still have your basic needs. But if your parents are saying, no, things are tight, we need your money immediately, or in a month we may need that extra couple thousand for rent, or your father's sick, or your mother couldn't work, Allahu Alam. So if it's a need, then don't make the Hajj. If they don't need your money, and they are scared for you to make Hajj, or they're being greedy, or whatever the case may be, then make the Hajj, even if things are tight. Just like having the money to buy something and having the ability to afford something. Two different concepts. Someone who can afford these pair of sneakers, he doesn't have to scratch and sit there for half an hour and think about what he's going to do. He can buy the sneakers. My food, my this, my that is all there. It's not like someone who has to sacrifice a meal. I'll pay this person back later, so on and so forth, just to get the sneakers. It's a huge difference. And Allah knows best.
This is Ian from Melbourne, Australia.
Fadal. Is Umrah mandatory? According to some scholars, it is. And many other scholars say no, it's recommended. But if you start it, you have to finish it. But some ulama hold the view that Umrah is obligatory once in one's life, just like Hajj. And there's proof to support that.
Initial Ian from Melbourne. What main beliefs of the Ash'ari, Deobandi, Raveli, and Maturidi took them out of Ahlul Sunnah?
Question says, what main beliefs or issues with the Ash'ari, Braylawi, Maturidi, etc. took them outside of Ahlul Sunnah? And Deobandi. First question is, what put them inside of Ahlul Sunnah? When were they ever a part of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah to start with? Okay, so that's the first question. When was their madhab based off of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah's way from the get-go for them to be taken out and removed? Did Imam Abul Hasan al-Ash'ari and Maturidi and this one and that one and their followers, let alone their followers, did they establish it upon the way of Ahlul Sunnah from the start? That's a very important question. And as I've said before, you must read the history of these groups. Do not suffice yourself with modern day refutations. Do not suffice yourself with modern day propaganda of the people of those groups. We're Ahlul Sunnah. We've been around for this years. Read the historical establishment of the Ash'ari school, where it came from. Read the life story of Imam Abul Hasan al-Ash'ari and who he was and what he was for those years. Read about these things. Deoband and Braylawi and Naqshbandi and so on. Read. As we say all the time, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read forever. Do not suffice yourself with this and that. Go to the history. And you'll see, it's clear as day, this man came up with this methodology in this year, and he took a piece of this and a piece of that, and he put it together and he called it something. Or his followers called it something. And the same applies to the modern day groups, whatever they call themselves. Read where it comes from. Are you understanding? This sheikh, this scholar that you're following, read his life biography. And I'm sure that you'll find many interesting facts about his life. Many interesting facts. What a person used to be, and what they used to be upon, and what they used to call to. Everything is not so simple and easy. So that's my advice. Who made them from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah from the get-go? Based off of the actual ingredients. And if they were once in Ahlul Sunnah or are Ahlul Sunnah, when did this group come about? Well, who's the founding father of the group and what was he upon? Everyone understand this or not? And the same applies to, we always say about the United States, Thanksgiving. Is Thanksgiving a religious holiday? Without a question it is. The people who celebrated it and practiced it had a religion, and they did it for a religious purpose. And the same applies to the other holidays, regardless of the secular consumerism involved. No doubt. Thanksgiving is just, is a holiday to eat and to buy things and see your family. But it has a religious basis to it. Everyone understand this? It has a religious basis to it. And the same applies to Christmas. And the proof for that is nothing more than the information that you can find that is directly in front of you. And that's why we use the word realize. You have to realize three things. Realize, real eyes, and realize. You understand the 3-point tier? That's what the word realize means. Realize. Read, look, study it. And don't ever forget that there are real lies. Things that have become accepted and popular, but they're lies. They're not factual. It's not historically accurate. So that's my advice. And Allah knows best.
Initials UW from Lutfi Hillman, Lutfi Hillman. From New York, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Dawla Sheikh. Is there any specific reward for marrying a divorced woman?
Tayyib. Lutfi Hillman, our beloved brother. Assalamu alaikum, beloved Sheikh. Is there any specific reward for marrying a divorced sister? It depends on what type of divorced sister it is. It depends. And it depends on what your plans are with her. She may have been abused. She may have been mistreated. She may have been misvalued or underappreciated. She may have been wronged and oppressed. And she's looking to reconstruct. She's looking to find a good brother, a good husband, who's going to love her and value her and appreciate her and do things for her, maintain her and provide for her, etc. So if you come in and you offer that help, that support, that love, and that care for that woman who's been broken or damaged, there lies no doubt that's a reward. There's no doubt about that, because you're being a good brother to your brother. And you can't be a believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself, as the Prophet tells us. So if your sister was in a bad relationship, and it was some brother who came along and did her wrong, or not even did her wrong, it just didn't work out, and she's lonely, and she's heartbroken, and she wants to be married, wouldn't you want a good brother to come along and marry your sister? And not say, oh, she's divorced, I can't marry her, she's not a virgin. Of course you would want the same for your own sister. So, do that for this sister. As long as it's a good situation for you. And don't ever do a major act of charity in which you can't handle and manage. It is beyond your means. I would love to marry the sister to help her out. She's a good sister, but it's beyond my means. I don't have the money for that. Or I'm not in that location. Or we're incompatible, totally incompatible. Our lifestyles are totally different. Or that situation just comes with too many small pieces that I don't have the ability to put back together. But if it's manageable for you and it can work for you and she's going to be an asset to you and help you out, bismillah, why not? Some of the best women are women that were married and divorced. And you may find some of the worst women who are virgins. It's reality of 2019. And just because a girl is a virgin physically, it doesn't mean she's a virgin mentally. She may be a virgin with regards to her hymen, but her brain, she may have the brain of a whore. She may have the mind of a slut. And I'm saying it being blunt. She may have the mind of a slut through pornography, through movies, through this and through that. Let alone other sexual acts and practices she may have performed. So just because a woman is a virgin doesn't mean she's a virgin. Now someone who is a virgin physically and mentally, that's a different story. That's a what? That's a different story. What's important is that if Allah brings you an opportunity, a good sister, she's attractive to you, she's pleasing to your eyes, she has good character, she has good deen, she's compatible, make istikhara. Seek the counsel of wise people and put your trust in Allah. That may be a blessing that Allah sent in your way. And just because she's a virgin or she's not a virgin doesn't mean she's a bad wife. It doesn't mean that she can't make you what? Happy. Oftentimes a virgin may not be appropriate for certain brothers. Certain situations it's not good to marry a virgin. You don't need a virgin wife, not you. He may need one, but you don't. You need a woman that's experienced, who's aged. You need a woman who's been through something in life. She can appreciate her husband. You may marry a young girl who's a virgin from a family. She may be spoiled. She may be a spoiled brat. It's the reality. And she takes all of her frustration out, what? On you. Or all of her expectations of her father are now what? This is what Abby did. And I'm not your Abby. I'm your what? I'm your Zoj. Huh? And Allah knows best. Last question. Abdul Raqib, I hope you're taking notes, inshallah. Huh? Last question from online, Nafis.
Inshallah. This is UW from London, UK. Assalamu alaikum. Can you pray your 4 sunnah while the khutbah is going on?
When you come into the masjid, make 2 rak'ah to sit down, and that's it. Do not do anything else. Listen to the khatib and listen to the imam speak. That's it. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said once in the introduction to one of his khutbahs, he pointed out a mistake that many people make. They come into the masjid, the mu'adhin is making the adhan, and they'll stand up and repeat after the mu'adhin. And then as soon as the imam says, in alhamdulillah, or alhamdulillah, alladhi, this and that, then they'll start making a 2 rak'ah. He says it's a mistake. It's mandatory to listen to the imam, Shaykh Uthaymeen said, and it's recommended to repeat after the mu'adhin. So you're going to miss a piece out of the khutbah by making 2 rak'ah. Instead of making a rak'ah as soon as you come in, Allahu Akbar, Allah, make immediately. And then you sit down and you listen to the imam. Let alone to make 4 rak'ah. And what's the sunnah of Jumu'ah? Is there authentic sunnah for Jumu'ah? And Allah knows best. That's going to be the end of our session tonight. Jazakumullah khairan. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barak. Ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina Muhammad.